Fishing from a jetty for tog can just be an outstanding way to target the species. In this case, it's a windy day. I was going to go out on my kayak, was going to hit the water and try some bridges, but it just wasn't going to work out. So couldn't hit the beach because of the blowing sand. So what I did is I headed to a jetty, threw out some green crab, and hit the tog. Fish on. Fish number one. Now, it's early in the season, so one of the challenges of tog fishing, whether you're from a jetty, a boat, a kayak, whatever, is you're going to have to pick your way through the smaller fish, and that's what this is right here. So you just have to be willing to put in the time, put in the bait, invest in a little bit of bait or some time finding some good bait, because you're going to go through it for the day. One thing you see a lot of times when you hit a jetty is people go out there with the same equipment that they have in the surf when they're dunking bait. So they have the big rods, 9, 10-foot rods. They have the 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 class reels. They have 30, 40-pound tests. In this case, I have a 7-foot, really the same rod that I use for fluking. It's a Star Aerial, 7-foot, I have 15-pound braid, and I'm using a 20-pound mono leader. Better. This guy's about a 12-incher. Just a little guy. Minimum size to keep at this time of year in New Jersey is 15 inches, so it's 1 at 15. That's well under, but I like to measure them every once in a while just so I can get a good sense of the size as I roll into the season. Now right here, I want to point out something. Now look where this lands, right there. Now, a lot of people are going to try to put it right on the rocks right in front of you, but that's not necessary. And when I'm fishing a jetty, I often don't do that. I toss it out beyond the rocks. The tog will come out of the rocks, and it offers you the benefit of when they bite the bait, when it's out of the rocks, they're not immediately within the rocks where they can just go in and then extend their fins and get locked into place. So you lose a lot less fish when you're a little bit further out, and you can pull them right over. In this case, still pulling in a short, but it just shows you don't have to be right in the wash, right at your feet. Don't worry, that guy got back into the water. You can put it out a little bit further, you can still catch fish. For these next two fish, I want to point out something that you'll see a little bit here in the video. Tog are very slippery fish. They're very difficult to get a hold of. They have some very strong fins and spines. So you got to be careful when you're grabbing them. In this case, I'm using not just a bottom sweeper type hook, but I'm using a swing jig. So when you have a swing hook on there, you have the added risk of them thrashing and having the hook turn around and catch you in the thumb or the finger. So just be very careful. Know that they're extremely slippery. They're very tough to get a hold of, and just be careful. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of cuts and a lot of scrapes on your hands. And I can attest to that. I had 7 this day. And for those that are new to tog fishing, just real quick, showing you how to prep your bait. So you have the green crabs here. You can also use Asian crabs, any types of crabs really, even blue crabs. But you're going to cut off the legs and the claws, and you're just going to cut it in half if they're these smaller ones. You should get better scissors or shears than I have there, so you can do it in one shot. But then once you do that, the best thing that I have found is just to turn around, put that hook directly through one of those holes where the legs were and out through in the body, and it'll be a nice secure hook. As you can see here, the tide is coming in. The wind is actually coming right in my face at this point, and the water's coming up, and it's just about to start coming over the top of the jetty. To my right is actually the end of the jetty, and that's been washed over and pounded by waves for quite a while. So I'm running out of time, but nice to hook into another fish. It feels like a better fish here, so hopefully I can end on a strong note. Much better. 14 and a half. 14, call it 14. That one's a little short, but I have a few more minutes, and I'm just going to keep them coming, just keep pulling some in until the waves finally chase me off of this jetty. So this will be the last one that'll be on the video. However, if you've liked this video, and you probably have since you're still watching at this point, popping up on the screen is a playlist for catching tog and targeting tog, as well as another video that I think you'll enjoy. I'll see you in the next one.